Journey with Judy. Honest, open, transparent. It's hot.
There's no such thing as perfect people.
All right, first of all, good morning and a happy birthday shout out to Rob's here in the studio. Today is her birthday. Oh, so I'm a week early? Okay, so this is exactly what we're going to be talking about. I hate when I do that. Robin just told me before we pray, we always pray about our special intentions, and she mentioned that her birthday was next week, and so I'm thinking it's today. So, okay, so no happy birthday, Robs.
Just early birthday. Thank you,
Early
Judy.
birthday.
I love you. You're
I
so
love
sweet.
you,
It's a good
girlfriend.
thing because my kids might be hearing this, and it's a good
And they
thing.
need to
and
be
they
reminded
need to know.
about your birthday.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so happy birthday next week to Robs. And thank you for those of you who listened to the Best of show last week. I had the privilege of being out of town again, and so we did a rerun. So if some of you were kind of confused hearing a story from 2 or 3 years ago, it makes perfect sense. You did hear that story, and it really isn't relevant to my life today because here's what's been going on. So we moved into our house on a Wednesday, had a graduation party on a Saturday, had Father's Day on Sunday, and Monday left for 1 week. Not really a vacation, but we did go to Florida for our daughter's national volleyball tournament. And here's what's super cool. I just love that venue. I love, the finishing up the season strong and, just being reminded that I'm not the only parent who is sacrificing time, money, energy on this volleyball circuit because the end game is that the kid gets her college paid for. That's the end game. It's not for fun, although we'd like to think it's fun. And the countless life lessons that come from, sports as a platform. I love that. But let's be honest, I want a scholarship. I want to not have to pay for my kid to go to college. But anyway, here's what we get to do. We get to use our friends, a friend of ours, friends and family rate, which is great. I mean, the friends and family rate is great because it's significantly less than the average person would pay to stay in a Marriott. So I love a Marriott property. When Bob's without me, he stays at the Roach Motel. He actually can buy crack at the hotels that he stays at, which is very convenient. But when I'm traveling with me and my daughters, like I'm a step up from the Roach Motel, okay? And a Marriott I can always count on to be clean. Love the free breakfast. Love the workout room. And I can just count on a good rate at the Marriott, which is great. So what has to happen is I have to book it, Robs, well in advance, and especially because of this tournament, they know everybody's coming into town. So what would normally be, for example, $100, they're charging literally $300. So here's what I do, though, and I hope that you can relate to doing what you hate, because I can't possibly be the only person out there that does what she hates and then continues to do that same thing that I hate, that not only I hate, but my whole damn family hates. I forget the hotel that I booked it at. So I know it's a Marriott, like I got it narrowed down to that, but I don't know if you know anything about Marriott properties, but there's about 10 different Marriott properties, and they're not all necessarily on the same street. So here's the thing about Orlando is we had driven from Georgia, which was about a 7-hour drive. And so when we were pulling into Orlando, we were looking to get to our hotel, right? I mean, we were done. We were done driving. We were looking to just unpack our stuff, settle in. Well, I didn't only forget where the hotel was, but I forgot to tell Bob that we had to go to a different hotel every night in order to, I love Robin's face. Like, see, when I'm in this little studio, this padded room, just talking to I don't know who out there, I can always look at Robin, who completely validates me in my insanity, okay? Because the things that I go through, Dave used to sit there and go, only you. Robin has confirmed this does not happen to normal people. Robin, does this happen to you ever?
No, it doesn't, Judy.
You've never forgot the hotel?
No, sorry to say that's something that has not happened to me.
Okay, so do you see why my family hates that?
Yeah, I can see why that would happen.
Okay, so I normally take the little reservation and screenshot it, and then I, put it into a file in my inbox. But since I've been without cable for 30 days and internet and phone, okay, that's just a show from 3 days from now. 3 weeks from now, I'll be talking about that. So anyway, I thought we were going to the right hotel. So we pulled in, right? And Bob pulls up front and I, unpack all my stuff and wait 20 minutes in line because there's literally 50 people checking in and I'm at the wrong hotel. So, okay, you know what? It happens. No problem. I get in the car. My man was not patient at all. Not patient at all. My daughter wanted to literally stab me in my eye. And so off we went to the correct hotel. The lady's like, you don't have a reservation here. You have a reservation there. Told me how to get there. I don't know if you've ever been to Orlando, but it takes a half an hour to go 1 damn mile. I mean, forget about Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. If I never saw them again, I wouldn't even care. What is the draw to Disney, Robs, where there's 50 billion people in this very small area trying to spend a lot of money that they probably don't have on things that they don't need at Disney? Anyway, we got to our next hotel, and I have to be honest, open, and transparent, and it too was the wrong hotel. We got to Orlando. Guys, it took us 2 hours to get to our final hotel. And my man just kept saying the F word over and over and over. We're going to talk about that when we get back, because that F word might not be what you're thinking he was saying. We'll be back after the break. You're Journeying with Judy right here on Lake 96.1. Okay, so welcome back. You're Journeying with Judy right here on Lake 96.1. And, you know, the friends and family rate is great, but not when you don't remember which hotel you booked at. And so there is a Marriott Courtyard. There's a Marriott Spring Hill Suites. There's a Marriott, the F word Bob kept saying was Fairfield. It was a Fairfield Inn. I don't know what F word you were thinking about, but anyway, that's on you, not me. So he knew it was a Fairfield. And so I just have to tell you, we ended up going to 2 more Fairfields because the people were pulling up the reservation for the next night or 2 nights later, because we had to go from place to place every night. We were literally like packing our stuff and moving, but the rate was so great, we absolutely had to do that. So I absolutely hate when I do that, and my family hates when I do that, because I think I'm pretty organized, Robs. But in this case, with moving and Kennedy's graduation and just what we had going on, I just didn't bring my A game, and my whole family hated that I kept doing what I always do. And so it was so frustrating. So here's the deal. I cannot be the only person out there who does what they hate. Okay? I can't. Rob said that she sometimes does what she hates. And so we're talking today about how impossible it is to solve a problem when you don't even know what's causing it. And so Bob's answer is always the same. The issue is you, Jude. The issue is you. Like, you are the problem. You are what's causing this. Robin's looking at me like my man needs to be. No, but it's true. Like, Rob, this is something that I really need to get a handle on, okay? I've been trying to solve me for 50 plus years. And, you know, the thing is that typically we have a theory about what's going wrong with us in our life. I mean, I'm kind of making light of this, but the reality is we all have some stuff, right, that we probably need to take a look at, that if we did take a look at and got ahead of it, right, we got ahead of it instead of on the other side of it, life would not only be better for us, it would be better for everybody, the people that we work with, the people that we're in relationship with. So, and here's the thing is, there's been a lot of us who have lost a lot by not resolving certain issues. And, you know, the thing about the Marriott and not knowing where I was going is really insignificant in life. People have lost marriages, jobs, their self-esteem, their reputation. We've lost time. We've lost sleep, not addressing problems that could really end up being opportunities for us to be and step into who it is that God has called us and created us to be. So unless we're going to look at it, but here's the thing, the same consciousness that created the problem cannot be the same consciousness that solves the problem, right? We got to bring something new to the game. So the problem may be you. The issue is you, Robs. It's not only me, but it's you. Okay? So some people have found out, been told, and realized what the problem is, but just knowing what it is doesn't solve it. So even though I said to my man, like, my bad, and he was not even forgiving of this, because it was like the 100th time that we've been in this same situation that could have absolutely been avoided. And so at one point, like when I went to the wrong hotel for the 4th time, you know, I started crying, and the woman's like, it's really okay. She thought I was literally unstable, when the reality was I was just so frustrated that I was in the same situation that I could have avoided. And so here's the good news. The reason I used to cry because of the mistakes I made or the problems I found myself in were much more traumatic than finding the correct hotel. But it was still that same feeling associated with it. Like you just feel dumb. Like I just felt so dumb, Robin. I tried to make light of it, but I was embarrassed. I felt embarrassed that, my daughters were completely just railing all over me, that Bob was, at his last, at his wit's end. But, the next, not only today's show, but next week, we're going to be talking about this whole topic of how do we diagnose what's up with us, and the fact that there's actually this biblical solution that will help us to resolve this stuff. So if the issue is you, then what are you going to do about it? Okay. Otherwise, you're going to just find yourself repeating history, which is the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. So the first step and the biggest part, and maybe even half the battle, is recognizing and being honest, open, and transparent. I got a problem. I tried to solve it, and I have not been successful. So maybe the problem is you, or maybe it's me, but the bottom line is sometimes we just don't even know what the problem can be. But here's what we do know. We do know that all solutions are spiritual. I know that financial, relational, sexual, moral, professional. It's every solution can be found in the spiritual realm. So here's our verse for today. I do not understand what I do. What I want to do, I do not do. As a matter of fact, what I hate is what I end up doing. So this is about every single one of us out there who literally finds themselves doing something that they know they don't want to do. They don't only not want to do it, but they hate that they did it, and they find themselves repeating that history. See, we are all about reversing the curse. Walking in the light of Jesus, walking as people of faith, we got to reverse the curse, Robs. We cannot keep repeating the cycle of defeat. You agree? Robs agrees. Eyes agree too. Eyes agree too with that. I absolutely agree with that 1 week before Robin's birthday. So the bottom line before we go to break is there is something inside of each of us that guides us in the area of what it is we should do. It does not matter your religious background. There's just something inherent within us. And if we did those things, we would be better. We'd be better people, better partners, better parents. But if we don't, well, that's a whole new game changer. So let's talk about that when we get back. Let's talk about that when we get back from the break, because we do have the victory in Jesus. If we want it, it is ours. And thank you to Cunis Country Auto Group for making this show your reality this Sunday morning. We'll be back after the break.
Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. He sought me and fought me.
All right, so welcome back. You're journeying with Judy right here on Lake 96.1, and we're talking about what happens when we do what we hate. And the bottom line is the issue is you. It is you that are making those choices to either not address the problem, admit the problem, acknowledge the problem, and address the problem, and you continue to do what it is that you hate. And so do I. So I'm never exempt from any of the topics that we talk about on the Journey with Judy show. As a matter of fact, I preach most about what I most need to learn. And so I was coming off really letting my family down once again about something so simple. And I left that situation not knowing which hotel we stayed at, taking 2 hours to find our final destination, all because I just did what I hate, which is didn't snapshot where we were going on which day and just followed it's very simple. This is where we are on this day versus this day. So I hope you can relate to it when I say I do not understand why I do. I do not understand what I do, because what I want to do is not what I do, and what I hate I do. So Paul wrote in Romans about this complicated, difficult to understand, but extraordinarily important aspect of all of our lives, which is a subject that we can all relate to. So why don't we do what we're supposed to do? Like, especially when we know that life would be better if we did. We'd be better parents, better partners, better people if we just did what it is that we want to do. So I'm not talking about, the fact that I hate it when, I turn off my alarm 5 times, or I hate it when I send a text message without reading it. I'm not talking about when I eat and binge, because I hate when I do that too. I'm talking about these life-changing situations that if we just did the one thing, if we recognize the issue is you and we address that problem, and really stepped into our faith and pressed into Jesus, it's not about another self-help book. It's not about getting told again. It's not about, studying more, working less, stop drinking, start forgiving. It's about doing something about those very things that could be a deal changer. So the problem isn't needing to hear about it again. It's actually doing something about it, right? Because, Robs, here's the deal. I hate when I do what I do because I can't blame it on you. So I hate when I do what I do because then I can't blame it on you. I have to accept responsibility for that very thing that I wished I didn't do. So here's the deal. Jesus came, died for us, and forgave us this sin, right? I mean, this sin thing started when Adam and Eve didn't do what they wanted to do. And the message then in the garden, the message now is what I do does affect you. What we are doing inevitably affects the people that we love the most, right? But we were like born with this sin thing, right? And it's just a matter of when it becomes visible in our life and what we're actually going to do about it when it does become visible. Visible. That's the word, Rob. Okay, so these are practical, real, and applicable situations that all of us are in, doing what we don't want to do and then repeating that same history over and over again. And it's not the little stuff that we can shake off. It's that stuff that really is a deal changer. I mean, it causes us to turn inward and just feel really crappy about who we are and what we're doing because we keep doing the same thing, and that same thing affects everyone. So why can't I do what I ought to do? Because it's this thing that overpowers us, Robs. It's this thing that renders us powerless. So the reality is this is about that. I always tell my kids that. This is always about that. This thing is really a byproduct of that thing. And as long as we can bring that thing into the equation, then we can actually recognize that without God's help, it's impossible. But with God's help, it is so possible. So I have to tell you about a couple things that my family hates. My family hates when bear with me, let me tell you this. My family hates when I use the word jawing, because when they're jawing, like talking too much, it's like, quit your jawing. They hate when I say jump down my throat. They hate when I take their stuff away, because I take stuff away. Like, I'm a big, taking stuff away, taking phones, taking privileges. They hate when I ask so many questions. They even hate more when I ask rhetorical questions. Like, I know they didn't do something, Robin. And so instead of just saying, when are you going to do that? I specifically ask them if they did it. And my smart aleck son, Chandler, will say, Mom, I didn't do it. Stop demeaning, disrespecting, demoralizing. Well, because he takes it so personally. When we're doing what we ought to do, we don't need to take things personally. We don't need to defend our behavior. And most important, we can't be blaming other people. So we're going to continue this subject matter next week because I think it's relevant and it's applicable for all of our lives. So here's the ending question is, what do you do when you can't seem to do what it is you ought to do? This curse, my friends, has got to be reversed, okay? The power of sin makes it so we can win. So let's tune in next week for part 2 of reversing the curse and the fact that the issue is you. And if you're not going to tune in, at least keep it hot. Honest, open, and transparent. Peace out.